Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. If you are new, subscribe to our channel, get on this journey with us. Hit a like and comment your thoughts in the comment section down below on Aston Villa 4, Everton zilch. Justin, how are you?
All right, mate. Good. Better after that.
Oh, it was good, man. It was
Good. Yeah,
very, very good.
just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, it was just back to normal, back to everything that we just associate with Unai Emery and Aston Villa. Shape of the team, brilliant. Passing triangles, just where each player needed to be, they were. There was some real good standout performances. So what we're going to do, because we've got a busy week, we've got our first European game. We're going to merge this one together. So it's debrief, player ratings, match reaction, all in one. So we're going to have a look at it tactically, some slides, the system, etc. So, yes, what did you make of the game, Justin, first off?
Yeah, it was brilliant. After last week's disappointments, it was lovely to get back to Villa Park and put on a show. That's what we all hoped would happen. We've seen Everton and the struggles therein. I know you did a Everton pod, I did one in the week, and they weren't looking forward to this game. They really weren't. They could see what was coming. They could see the potential, what could happen in this game. And I think their worst fears were realised, really. They, as good as Newcastle were last week, I think Everton were as poor this week. That's not to take away, our performance. And you can only beat what's in front of you. And we beat Everton comfortably by four. And it could have been maybe a few more as well. So it's an excellent win. I think we're just going to take it, as it comes. I certainly won't. I'm not going to get too carried away, like I wasn't too down last week after the Newcastle performance. Obviously disappointed. The 5 goals, I think, probably flattered Newcastle. Now I've had a week to think about it and look at it again, probably from a bit of a distance. But I think this week, I think we're full value for a 4-0 win against a struggling Everton team that didn't really lay a glove on us, did they? So overall, really good to be back to winning ways. Our form at home is pretty incredible at the moment, coming on from the end of last season. So I think hopefully that can continue.
We've broke a record, haven't we? Well, set a record of 8 consecutive
home wins,
which is the most we've ever done in the. I mean,
Premier League. I think
I always find this a bit weird, like how we see the Premier League era as like completely different to like football before it, but in the Premier League era, it's now a record. So fair enough, and
we'll
it's
take
a good one. And and like you said though, you don't want to get too carried away, but this game had its challenge in the sense of we had to bounce back, and had we have bounced back and drew the game or won in a narrow, cagey 2-1, then there would still be some questions and people having their say. But the fact that we just went out and done the business and played so well and looked so comfortable, that was one of the biggest things for me. We'd got back to that sort of watching Villa, knowing we were in no danger. It was so calm. It was so fluid, playing out from the back. It was absolutely brilliant today, playing out from the way they were knocking it around. Pau Torres fizzing balls into the midfield. Konsa looked brilliant. The midfield triangles, the passes, the give and goes, the movement was really good today. And I think that was partly to do with why I think we played well and why I think, we did so well today, because of the football that we played, which is, sometimes you could win 4-0 but not play great football. But we played really good football, which was the big thing for Emery, controlling matches, and that's massive.
Yeah, I think the first week of the season last week, it couldn't have gone much worse for us, could it? With the 2 big injuries, the thumping at Newcastle, and you don't want to start a season like that, do you? So there was a bit of pressure going into this game. We saw a new defensive partnership with Torres and Konsa today. He stuck with the two fullbacks. Lots of question marks, as always, over Leon Bailey. And I saw the moans and groans when the team sheet dropped again, and Leon Bailey's in there, and the bench. It's not the strongest, there's a bit of quality on there, but there's players there that Villa fans probably would have thought would have been moved on by now, possibly. So that just shows that the impact the injuries have had on us, not just the ones recently, but like going back to the Ramsey one and the Moreno one. So yeah, the depth is a little bit stretched. The question marks were there after the loss last week. So there was a bit of jeopardy, if you like, going into this game. But Everton are struggling, and it was probably a good game for us to be honest, to have as a first home game once again in the season, and we dispatched them pretty comfortably. Like you, so I'm sure we'll get into more detail on the formation and how we went on about it, but very pleasing. Back to Emery basics, wasn't it? Really nice football, really calm, composed out from the back, lots of movement in midfield, and create chances, and hopefully we take them, and we did today. And I think most players will come out with a hell of a lot more scores, better scores in the match ratings than they had last week, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So let's just have a little look at what the lineup started like, and we'll go from there. So I was very surprised, not going to lie, to see the same team barring Mings out and Powin, but it was fine. But the biggest thing for me, the biggest difference to start this game was the positions between Bailey and Diaby. Now, from where I was in the Holt end, I actually saw Diaby taking up this role here and Leon Bailey acting a little bit more of an out-and-out winger, whereas it didn't really work at Newcastle. But I think that combo with Bailey being a little bit further out there, Diaby coming inside and helping support, really did make a bit of a difference. And I think Bailey was really good, like really good today. And I can't give him enough credit because I have been on at him because I just want him to improve. I want him to play better. I know that there's a decent player there. I don't care whether he scores I said it on the fan cam, 7th minute, a banger, and then that's it, and he disappears. It's everything else. And he was better today. He was more aggressive. He wanted to get to the byline. He wanted to help out. He wanted to link up with Diaby. He wanted to help back and support Cash a little bit more. So I think his positional awareness was 10 times better. Now, if Bailey plays like that every single week, we will have no problems with him being in this side or fans criticising him, because today, for me, that's the Bailey that I want to see. Have you got anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm too kind to players a lot of the time, because I have always been firmly of the belief that I don't believe any footballer, especially playing for Villa, goes out to deliberately be shit when they go out. I just don't believe that. They train all week to go out, and they all want to be, their egos really, to get to this level, means that they want to be the superstar and play, especially in the forward positions. They all want to be the one that scores all the goals, creates all the goals, and be the one everybody's talking about. So the problem we've had with Leon Bailey is his consistency level since he signed has been on the floor, hasn't it? I'm going to be generous, 1 in 5, 1 in 6 games, we see a really good performance like we saw today, and then he goes missing. So you get your hopes that you think, oh, he's cracked it. We've got the Bailey we thought we signed. Then he disappears for a few games. Then the mumblings start coming in. And he's leaving out. But I've always been of the opinion, there's a player in Leon Bailey, you don't get to play in the Premier League at the level he's got with the money we paid for him. And if you're not a good footballer, we just haven't been able to unlock the Leon Bailey we thought we were signing. And I think the Diaby signing, I think we spoke about it when we signed him, that does feed into the sort of thinking that the pair of them together, because they've had an understanding before coming from the same club, could be the spark that might unlock the Bailey we thought we signed in. And if today's anything to go by, that definitely looks like there's a possibility of it happening. I'm not. Again, let's see in 5 games' time what Leon Bailey's turned up in the next 4 games. But you can only really, these are reactions to a game, and we can only react to the game he's played in today. And he was pretty outstanding, really. Assist and a goal. His all-round game was much better. His tracking back was better. There's obviously things to improve on. He's not perfect, but there ain't many perfect performances in any team, is there, in the country every weekend? So if we can stay around the level he's at that he showed today, then I've got absolutely no problems with Leon Bailey at all.
No, neither have I. And we did see a slight shift in the second half. We went back to, well, not back to, but we went again with Carlos, Contat, Pau, and Luke Dean. Cash went into midfield. I thought Carlos looked very strong when he came on, and
He did, yeah.
he added that physicality. There was that one
Yeah.
time where I think one of their players was sort of through a little bit, and he
just
put his
knocked him
body
off the
in there.
board, didn't he? Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
It
the Carlos one's an interesting one going forward, isn't it? I think I said last week that now we've lost that imposing figure of Mings at the back. He probably is the natural replacement, if you look at what centre halves we've been left with, of a player that can come in and maybe play that strong, like, winner of the ball, knocking people. I mean, as a physical specimen, he's elite, isn't he? He's got everything. He's great in the air. He's got a good passing range as well for a centre half. So it'll be interesting to see how this sort of back three, back four, back two. He's gone with Pau and Concert today, and they played really well. And then the usual Emery shut up shop. Where regardless, he's sticking with the centre half on, and then play with proper sort of wing backs, which was great to see. I thought Luca Dean was really good. Matty Cash was poor last week. I thought he was decent today again. There wasn't really a sort of a poor cog in the wheel today, was there? So lots of positives to talk about. Thank God.
Yeah, definitely positive for us and our channel. Me
Hey
and
up, who's
Hannah,
that?
before the game, doing a little bit of filming for TNT Sport, the old BT Sport. So that was nice. I was in front of the Witten Arms, and Hannah was in front of the Whole 10 Steps. So check out that when it comes out. It's going to be a good one. So if we go to the game, then Aston Villa had an XG of 3.11. Everton had a 0.68. Aston Villa had 60% possession. Everton had 40%, which is massive for Aston Villa. We had 13 shots and we had 7 on target. We had 7 corners. They had 6. We had 5 big chances. They had 1. We made 555 passes, 90% passing accuracy of 555 passes. Now, that's going to impress Unai Emery a great deal. And then we won total duels 41. So as you can see here, this is Aston Villa's XG shot map. We are in the light blue and they are in the dark blue. We have another XG shot map, as is 2.79. Everton's is 0.77. Shots by XG per minute, Aston Villa are at the top, pretty dominant. And match dominance based on expected threat. Again, pretty dominant from Aston Villa. As you can see, Aston Villa's average positions were pretty strong. We offered quite a lot of width in this game as well. You can see Cash and Luca Dean offering quite a lot of width in this game. You got Kamara and Louise in the double pivot, and then that sort of front four vibe. So, mirroring a front four of something like what you're seeing Man City do as well. So
that's the new Emery system. That is, Luke, 2-4-4.
Love it. Aston Villa's passing network. You can see again the width on both sides with Cash and Luca Dean. Loads of triangles. The Torres to Luca Dean was the biggest passing range, and Concert to Matty Cash. So pretty good. Adding width, showing that we are sort of dominating the whole pitch rather than it being too narrow. This was Everton's average position. So you can see on their right-hand side, our left-hand side, that is an area that I guess we push them back, pin them in quite a lot. And you can probably see that from the Torres to Luca Dean, the McGinn, the Watkins out on that side, mirroring why their sort of right back was probably a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Everton's passing network.
That's not bad, is it, considering they got blasted?
Yeah, not too bad, is it really? So I think their passing network quite decent to be fair, but I guess it's what you do with it. Aston Villa's
Yeah.
danger creation came through the centre of the pitch. I just wanted to touch on some standout performances that I've highlighted, and this is a big one for me. You can see Bailey's passing percentage, 83%, which is really high for Bailey, especially. His passing accuracy on long balls, 2 out of 2. Dribble attempts, 2 out of 2. Ground duels, 1, 2 out of 3. So he was winning his duels. His passing accuracy was good. He got a goal and assist. Very, very strong performance from Bailey. Another one, John McGinn. He had 80% passing accuracy. He won 5 of his 9 ground duels. He won. His dribble success was 2 out of 4. So I think he had a strong game for me. And then I think Pau Torres did as well. 89.7% passing accuracy. Very, very good again. If you're getting towards the 90s, you've got a really good passing accuracy. So, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I think the Pau Torres one just feeds into everything we expected from him anyway, didn't it? Keeping the ball well, using the ball well, coming out from the back, and becoming even a sort of a third number 6, if you like. So outstanding. John McGinn again. We spoke about it a lot on this podcast. He struggled a little bit with when he got the captain's armband. Ignore the dog. But he's grown into the captaincy absolutely amazingly now, hasn't he? And I think he led by example today. Really good. Got his goal as well, which is something we want to see more of. And you see his average positions further forward than Ollie Watkins. That's a place where I think we want to see him now. I think that's where you see the best John McGinn, rampaging in the final third everywhere he can, causing mayhem, and he's also got the ability to drop back in and cut attacks off as well. So he's got the all round game, hasn't he, John McGinn? I mean, to think we paid £2.5 million for him is just ridiculous. The bloke's just improves season on season. And Leon Bailey, as we highlighted at the start, had a really, really good game. Tough to call a man of the match today, but he's probably between McGinn and Bailey, wasn't it? I think. But nice little cameos off Diaby. I thought he did well. Great to see John Duran come off the bench and score. That'll do him the world of good, and a position I know I've been calling for a bit of backup for, and we've now got a sort of backup striker that's now notched in the Premier League, so that'll do his confidence the world of good going forward. Again, the only disappointing thing was another injury to Coutinho. I don't know how bad that is. It seems to be a hamstring in a few weeks.
Emery said 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it looked worse than that, didn't it?
Yeah.
It looked a really bad one, but so hopefully that's not too bad. And we're hopefully getting Ramsey and Moreno back fairly soon as well. And we've got, Zaniolo in the stands watching on. He must have been impressed today watching from the stands and can't wait to get stuck into this side. So, all in all, I mean, yes, yeah, he was in the stands apparently watching on, chomping at the bit, I think, to get on that pitch. But again, it feeds back into sort of what I was saying, last week. Whilst we did get beat, we had 16 goal attempts and 6 on target. What did we have today? 5 on target, and we scored 4 goals. So the clinical nature of our finishing today really helps. So it just again feeds back into. I don't think last week was probably as bad as we thought at the time. Score wise was obviously, but I think we could have played. We'd played not as bad as a 5-1. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And this week we've just put the chances away and comfortably cruise the game, which I think we're going to see a lot of this season at Villa Park especially. I think we're going to see that type of performance a lot, and I can't wait, to be honest, because we're going to be entertained thoroughly throughout the season.
Let's relive a little bit of it then.
Why not?
First goal. This was the first goal. Great to see Leon Bailey at that byline. Get to the byline, cross it in with conviction. 1-0 to John McGinn. This slide, I want to pick up on one player who I'm starting to see a little bit of a pattern with, and it's Mr. Diaby. He absolutely loves this space here, doesn't he, Diaby? He absolutely loves it. Peels off, waits for that ball. Doesn't come to him this time, but don't worry. It does come to him at one point. Second goal, which I got to be honest, from the whole thing, I saw nothing of that. I didn't know what happened, if I'm being honest. But he does get took out, and we end up winning a penalty, and we score one, which is amazing in
Interesting to
itself.
see Dougie Louise take the penalty duty on as well today. I don't think it was a massive surprise after Ollie Watkins struggled a little bit. So it was nice to see him absolutely bury that penalty as well.
This here was some liquid football, wasn't it? This little move
Yeah.
where someone took a little dummy. Who is it? DRB in his
In your
zone,
little
in that
spot, in your little
zone.
spot.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is DRB zone. He scored against Newcastle from there,
Newcastle.
right? Who do we have here? Makes a brilliant save from Pickford, but here we go in his zone, right? He's lethal in this area, the RBs. But that was a brilliant save from Pickford.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
When that left his foot, I thought it was going
I
in.
thought that seen, yeah.
Next one, what we got here then? This was the Bailey goal, and I think it was some nice little play where
Mistake, wasn't it, as well? Yeah.
someone just let it run and it fell to Bailey. Brilliant finish in the right place. Hold on a minute. Who's getting into his position here? DRB. It's DRB there. Right.
The
And
DRB
then
spot.
I'll tell you, right. And then this was a great save from Martinez. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it was, to be
save
fair,
from
yeah.
Martinez.
He made a couple of good saves today, didn't he?
Yeah.
In the first half, I think he made a really good save.
Anyone in the comment section, this goal reminded me of whose goal do you think this reminded me of, Justin? Do you know who's reminded me of? It wasn't anything like it, but it reminded me of Benteke's first goal.
I thought, when he didn't he lob over the keeper? Was that his first goal? Yeah.
It just really
I know what you
reminded me
mean.
of
Yeah.
watching.
Took advantage of a mistake. Yeah, I mean, great finish, to be fair. His first two touches. One was taking it away from the defender. The second one was slotting it past the keeper. So you can't get a better introduction than that, can you? But I think all four goals really, go back to the first goal and Leon Bailey. We've seen him in that position so many times, and for him to take that sort of just that split second to look up and then cut the ball back in between. There's one good angle, I think, on the telly, if you look at it, when he cuts it back in between two defenders and McGinn's just running onto it lovely. But like you were saying, that those positions at the edge of the box, when you've got Watkins leading the line, then you've got McGinn who scored today, you've got Bailey who scored today, and then you've got Diaby, who's unlucky not to score today, all making those late runs into the box. And if one's getting to the byline, should have two of them at least coming in and sort of making the runs, either one into the near post, like you saw with McGinn, who slotted, and then the other one, if they've got a footballing brain, which they all seem to have got, really good footballing brains. So you got McGinn, like the still you've frozen there. You got McGinn when he scored, but then you've got Diaby not trying to take up the same position as McGinn. You've got Diaby just sitting back at the edge of the box. So if the ball comes across and whatever happens, they get a touch on it and it just comes out to the edge of the box, then you've got Diaby picking up the bits and pieces at the edge of the box. So that three in behind could really start to really pay dividends over the next sort of few weeks. The more they play together, they'll start picking up, different positions within the box. And, the only thing I suppose was a bit of a disappointment was Ollie Watkins didn't get off the mark today. That would have been nice to see him getting, and he had a couple of good chances. Just he needs to learn that dink, doesn't he? He needs to learn that little dink over the keeper, which he did a couple of times really well last season, to be fair to him. But, I think he'd get a lot more goals if he just dinked the ball more often than not.
Yeah. So we'll go into the player ratings now, and then we'll have a bit of a roundup. So we will go, first of all, you can go onto our website and do yours at home. I'll kick it off with Martinez. I'm going 10. Right. I'm going 10 because he kept a clean sheet.
He's gone strong.
He kept a clean sheet. His kicking was brilliant. He looks calm, composed, and he made, was it two or he made two saves.
Made at least two very good saves,
Yeah. So you can't really give him less than a 10, can you? Because he's made two saves to keep the scoreline decent for us. and he's played well. So I'm saying Martinez, he can't do no better, can
Then
he?
you've got to give him man of the match, then, haven't you? If you're giving him 10, it depends who you give him man of the match to. Who are you
Yeah,
giving man
all
of the
right.
match to?
No, I'm not giving him man of the match, but I'm just saying he can't do no wrong, can he?
No, I know what you're saying. He couldn't have
Right,
done much better than it. He
my
saved
rules.
everything that was thrown at him, and he got a clean sheet. So you can't ask
Like,
any more than a goalkeeper.
that's what I mean. If you give him a 9, why couldn't he have got a 10?
He never got an assist.
True. All right, give him
He
a
never
9.
scored.
Right, he can have a 9, but I don't know what he's got to do to get a 10. You
Scored
can
a pen.
fly through the 4 then, just in the
I think I pretty much agree with most of the people there. I'd give Conser an 8 or a 9, probably a 9. Luca Dean, I thought probably one of his best games for Villa. I thought he did well last week, getting forward and bombing on and
yeah.
decent balls. And his crossing today was really, really good as well, something that's letting down at Villa. But we know he's got it in his locker. Matty Cash will go an 8, I think.
8, okay.
I would, yeah. Yeah, I just think he's not quite as good as Luca Dean, but still had a good game. Pau Torres, a 9. I thought he was excellent. Really, he's going to be a player that I'm going to really, really, really enjoy watching this season. To have a ball playing centre half that's so calm is brilliant. Kamara 8 as well. I think Louise 8.
Are you doing them all then?
And then no, I'll let you. For me to toss up man of the match, the next 2. So I'll let you decide the next 2.
Okay.
Who you want to
But
call man of the match?
I just want to touch on Kamara and Louise.
Yeah.
Far better.
Yeah.
Far better than last week. Absolutely brilliant. Positional awareness, reading of the game, passing, intricacy, whether they're just knocking it back to the centre backs or to a full back or forward. I thought they were spot on. McGinn. Oh, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, weren't he?
Yeah.
I'd give McGinn a 9. I'm going to give McGinn a 9. Would you agree?
I would agree totally, yeah.
Yeah.
And I
thought
would with
McGinn,
Bailey as well.
butt rolling, just aggressive everywhere, complete leader. And if he plays like that every week, then it'd be fantastic. Bailey, I'm going to give. Do you know what?
I'd give
You
him
know
a
what?
9. Hey up,
No.
hey up,
Oh, no.
hey up.
No, I'm giving him this because
I know
last
what you're going to
week
say.
he got absolutely hammered. And rightly so.
Yeah.
Rightly so, because he was very, very poor. To come back and play like that this week and to have that level and to do the things that I want him to do, not just score, not just assist, defend, link up with DRB. That partnership looks like it's blossoming again from Leverkusen days. If he plays like that every single week, no Villa fan will ever slightly on Bailey. They won't, will they?
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, one of my biggest pet hates in football is when players aren't doing it on the pitch, and some of the abuse you see written is disgusting. I've got no problem, like we do on here, calling players out for having a poor performance and not putting it in and looking disinterested and just being poor. But you can say somebody had a poor game without slagging them off. So I think that needs to stop. But that's not a Villa problem; that's a whole country problem. But yeah, for as poor as we said Bailey was last week, he was much better today, and I wouldn't disagree. I probably would have had him slightly, again ahead. I would have given man of the match today for me.
Yeah,
That would have been my man of the match as well.
He was my man of the match, and
An
he went off
assist, a
on
goal, and an
he went
all-round
off
good
on
play.
he went off on 63 minutes as well.
I think he
So,
took a bit of a knock, didn't he? On that, he had
yeah.
a bit of a heavy challenge, and he was hobbling a little bit. Hopefully, he's all right because we've got a lot of games coming up. But yeah, can we just keep that Leon Bailey, please, every week?
Yes,
that'd be great.
that's what I mean.
Thanks.
There's no criticism if he plays well.
No.
A player that I was a little bit frustrated with today was Watkins, and I think I've got to be honest.
Yep.
I was frustrated with his hold-up play. I think towards the end of the first half, they started to grow into it when that 9 minutes of it added on time went up, and they were pressing us a little bit and pressuring us, and it kept going up to Watkins and it kept bouncing back, and that didn't help. And then there was one
No.
time where it came to him, he held it up, and we was away. And it's like that we need to relieve that pressure sometimes, and it just bounces off him. And I think that's an area of his game that he really needs to work on. That control. And I know he's up against a big centre back that's pushing him, and it just needs to be slightly better, in my opinion. And like you say, that dragged shot he had, you know, it was just a weak area for me. I felt like we could have been a little bit better with him today, and I felt like he didn't have the best of games. I'm not saying he was terrible, but I'm just
No.
saying we need to see a little bit more from him, and
I think
that's all I'm trying to say.
No, I would agree. I think he slipped back a little bit into his early sort of season last season when he was getting a bit of stick and he wasn't scoring goals, and his first touch was letting him down, and the ball was bouncing off a little bit. And what's very, very important, what we've seen him do brilliantly, especially in the sort of last few months of the season last year when he went on that amazing scoring run, and his form was incredible and got him back in the England squad. What you have to be with that when you're playing that lone attacking role is you have to keep the ball. One of the main points is when the ball gets up to you, it sticks because you cannot get the rest of the team up and around you if it's just coming straight back down again. The three in behind rely on the striker to hold the ball and to allow the back four to get up on the halfway line, which allows the midfield to push on, allows the three players in behind to cause havoc and to play off each other, like we were saying then about one of them going to near post, back post, one of them. We've got so many players that can cause havoc, and an essential part of our attacking play is Ollie Watkins knitting it all together, as the focal point, and he just hasn't quite got up to speed this season yet. We saw that at Newcastle. He had, struggling a bit with. He didn't really get a lot of the ball, and when he did, especially in them games, you have to make sure that the little ball you get, you have to make sure you look after it with your life. And today it was just a bit disappointing. That's all. He made some good runs. He got into some good areas, and another day he finishes it, and he's off and running. And I think he's that type of player, which a lot of strikers are. Let's be right. They get a goal and they look a different player the week after. So he needs that goal. Hopefully, he might be able to get it in the week. In the Europa League game, and then he's off and running, in the season. What he won't want to happen is another 1 or 2 or 3 games go by without him scoring, because he's got his sights set firmly on a decent target this season. So it's a little negative, but it's not the end of the world at the moment.
Yeah. So I think to round up, really good day at the office, good to bounce back on track. Defence looked strong, very good. So that was good, especially defending on set pieces. Little word on Everton. Big trouble, I think. Yeah. I mean, Christ, they were... They looked like they'd never played together before. I don't know whether it was because that's how we played, but I don't know, they look a bit still.
It's a difficult one. I had a message off, could have given us a chance today off the Everton podcast. It's a tough one because I watched them last week and I was quite impressed with them, to be honest, at home. That they created loads and loads of chances last week. If they've had a half-decent forward, they'd have beat Fulham 3 or 4-1 last week. And then they come to Villa Park maybe with a lot more confidence. But, they were very, very down after that performance last week. To lose at home after playing so well 1-0 with like a smash and grab, it dented their confidence, and then they've rocked up at Villa Park today, and we've absolutely took them to the cleaners, haven't we? So it's a difficult one, but I think news broke just after the game that they'd had a bid accepted for Shay Adams. I'm not convinced he's the answer to their problems, but he's another forward that can throw into mix. And looking at Dominic Calvert-Lewin's problems with his injuries and what else they've got on the bench, them amongst 1 or 2 or 3 other clubs down the bottom, and I claim Wolves in that, is I just don't see where the goals are coming from. So they're going to have a long season if they don't sort that out very quickly.
Well, they play each other next as well.
That'll be a very interesting 0-0 draw then. 83 chances each, 0-0 draw.
Yeah, it'll be a 0-0, won't it?
Be 7-7 now, won't it?
So cheers everyone for watching. Nice positive episode for you. We are going to have some Europa European football content coming your way in the next couple of days. That's a bit of a different sort of feel to it, doesn't it? So next load of videos from us up until Wednesday night
Wednesday.
is
Yeah.
gonna be all European. So you can put your Premier League over in one corner because we're focusing on Europe now. So yeah, very busy week, loads of content. We're gonna have to cram a lot in towards the end of the week as well. So cheers everybody for watching, and up the Villa.
Up the Villa.